Hello. Welcome to Wonderland for another episode of the Elemental I Ching. I'm out here in the beautiful, cold, back home at Wonderland for a moment with our very, very still lake, our frozen, joyous lake. And that's what we're drinking in today. GK58, hexagram 58, the joyous lake. And we've entered in this last week and a half into a cycle of the lake as the primary element of contemplation. So we've been moving through the stillness of the mountain of appreciation and the dynamism of the waters of devotion and commitment, and just recently the creative heaven, the movement of time and energy and creation through to here, to the lake, to the stillness of the joyous lake. And this jinki is a beautiful representation of what the element of the lake really means. It moves from the shadow of dissatisfaction, divinely dissatisfied with how life is experiencing itself right now, to the gift of vitality, when we don't repress or try to repress or react against that dissatisfaction and actually just let the sensations of life flow through us. It brings about that natural vitality, that natural joy and happiness. And that's really the key archetype of the joyous lake, is elation, is that natural vitality, that state of ecstasy that we actually are, we live in. If we give ourselves the opportunity to see all of the experiences, all of the vibrations, all of the sensations of life, to be allies. Even out here in the cold, there's a powerful technique called Wim Hof, the Iceman, and just becoming allies with the cold, becoming allies with the sensations that we're usually dissatisfied with how we're feeling in this moment. To the city of bliss, to that evanescent knowing of all of sensation as this blissful experience of life experiencing itself. The beauty of what happens when we're still enough, when we have that stillness, the programming partner of restraint, to come inward, to come into the softness of the moment, to receive like a still lake, making our heart like a still lake with the depths of loving generosity and kindness beneath, and the calm, tranquil waters of contentment. That's what bliss really is it's this elation through being content. It's this vitality, this energy, this emotional, loving, creative, sexual, Shakti of life that emerges from the softest stillness, peace, tranquility, serenity. We learn to ride the waves of fire and water. We learn to harness the power of the sun and deeply sink into the earth. And the lake, she's the youngest daughter of the Bagua. She's the end of where that river streams and pours itself to, reflecting the majesty of the mountains through the simplicity of being. So as we walk through all of these I Ching hexagrams that involve the lake, the Bagua of the joyous lake, where are we stuck in our dissatisfied story with what we're experiencing? Right? Where's the murky swamp of our no, of just our disgusting no? Because we can't, as Richard says in the GKs, you can't repress dissatisfaction. It just is. You know when you're dissatisfied. You know when things just don't feel good. What is that story of sensation that we put on this living experience? I had an experience where I burnt my hand horribly. And it was just for hours, just agony, burn, agony. And I had been contemplating this key, and so I finally was like, okay, how can I disengage the story of this is pain? The story of my suffering. And I realized it was my body saying, I'm alive, at full force, at full octave. And when I relaxed and stopped identifying that particular sensation as something I did not want, a pain, suffering, and instead just recognized it as life vitality flowing through my body at an intense degree, suddenly it became like this roller coaster ride of sensation that my body was able to go into my own, cells and experience life flowing through at a vast degree. It was intense, but it no longer kept me trapped in that victimization of being dissatisfied with what I was feeling and creating story that was actually interfering with the life force that wanted to flow through me. And I think that's true of all of our little challenges in life. Where do we get stuck in the murky swamp of I want it to be something different than what I'm experiencing right now? And when I can relax and say, okay, I allow, accept, and embrace, right? I allow that this sensation is occurring. I acknowledge that this sensation is occurring. And from that space of peace, true change, true dynamism, true vitality, true love, true elation, true emotional, excitement and inspiration and an engagement with life can occur. So listening into that stillness of the lake, yet just under the surface is the bubbling creativity, is the bubbling joy of natural beingness. So I hope you find where are my stories? And this is my invitation for us all. Where are my stories of dissatisfaction? Where are my stories of what I'm experiencing today isn't good enough, isn't what I want it to be? Where am I stuck in the murky swamp? And do I have the courage? Can I acknowledge I'm going to have the courage to wait while this truck passes? Do I have the courage to restrain my impulse to try to, from reacting against that dissatisfaction, against that stress? You know, even the act of trying to force myself out of my own murky swamp in the morning, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest. It's cold. You know, take a snow day. I get it. But where is that vitality getting locked up in my story of this isn't what I want to experience right now? And do I have the courage to eat well, to take in these experiences, to take in these sensations as life vitality telling us, directing us where our natural joy and happiness can best emerge? The courage to make our hearts still like a lake with the depths of loving kindness and generosity beneath. So many blessings from our sacred lake here at Wonderland. You know, it may seem frozen, it may seem that stillness is being enforced by our external reality. But beneath that, the spring will always come. The natural, joyous love of life will always emerge. Let's trust in each season, in each cycle, and learn to dance with the elements. That's what this project means to me. It's encouraging me every 5 days to get up and dance with the elements of life. You know, this is the bagua of the lake. You know, how can I tap into my grief? You know, the grief is the metal element of the I Ching of the lake. It's a metal element. How can I tap into my grief and acknowledge the vitality of my righteousness? So explore this joyous lake through each of these gene keys over the next few weeks. You know, we're about to start a whole brand new year. And I encourage all of us to find the ways that come alive. Where does our elation come alive? Where we can channel that vitality, the gift of we woke up again today. We are prospering because we are alive and breathing right now. That's what the joy of natural happiness at 58 brings to me right now. The bliss of sensation, even when it's overwhelming and intense. That's how we're gonna learn to ride this wave into ecstasy, yeah? It's getting noisy and crazy out here, so I send you off. Many blessings.